Hey, this Bug Guy 99, but I probably don't look like Bug Guy 98. A retarded version of Justin Bieber. I got a haircut yesterday. Yeah. So, back to subject. I wanted to make the best prop ever in the world. So I did. And it's a portal, and that's today's build. Okay. So, just let me warn you now. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Using all these parts, it's taken me already a week, and I plan to make this 3 days. It's been like 2 weeks building this. And it's so hard. But, I built, okay, I'm gonna show you it, but I built half of it. I didn't finish the whole thing yet, because a lot of the pieces are drying downstairs in the garage. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like so far. Okay. So, as you can tell, this barrel is totally different from the one in the video game, but you know what, I just don't care. Okay, this is probably this one right here. It's the shell. It's probably the hardest piece. I'm gonna take it off for you. To build, I mean, like. Okay. We'll talk about these shells. Okay, so. It doesn't look that good on camera, I guess, but it's really, really glossy. And it's hard as a rock. So, I'm going to talk about how I built it. It's kind of really weird. It's complex, I guess. The first thing I did was I took these two PVC pipes in the back. These are 4-inch couplings. 2 of them just hot glued together and painted black. What I did is I took aluminum foil and kind of built up the shape I wanted. It looked pretty good. And I took a mixture of water and, like, you know, just Elmer's glue, like a paper mache, and I just put it on and put it on top of the aluminum foil. And it made like this really cool shape, but it wasn't like, it was all rough and gross and disgusting. So then what I did is I got this stuff called Bondo. It's like $10 at what do you call it? What's this place called? Menards, yeah. And it's called Bondo Auto Filler. You like fill dents in your car. I took that. I did many layers of sanding and dremeling. The Dremel, well, the last thing you want to do is use a Dremel and clear it up. The Dremel made it look the best, but my Dremel actually burned out, which freaking sucks. So, yeah, I did the same thing from. Well, it's a funny story. I built the whole thing, and I realized, oh my god, I don't have the bottom shell. I totally forgot about that. So last night I built the whole thing. It actually turned out it's painting downstairs. Looked pretty nice. And let's go on to the barrel. Okay, so these pieces. This is a 3-inch coupling. This is half a 3-inch or a quarter, I guess, of a 3-inch coupling sanded down. And this piece is a 4-inch PVC pipe, and then the inside right here is a 3-inch PVC pipe, but it's really long. The original gun top barrel doesn't look like this, but I thought this one had a much more unique look because I want it to look like I made it, not like I don't want it to look like it was bought by Valve or whatever. And like it's supposed to have these 3 little things. I didn't like the way that looked, so I just skipped it and kind of added this kind of groove where it's, and then I also added this line that stops. Kind of gave it a more look, kind of cool look, I guess. I need to fix that up with the Dremel still, but yeah. And for this inside tube, okay, so any mogul says to use this little tube they can get at Menards. It was like $7. It's like plastic. It did not fit. It was very, very small compared. It was like about the size of the inner tube for this. Another thing is, if a website says you get ABS plastic, you're not gonna find that in stores unless you buy it online. Because I went around at all the stores, like Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, and Ace Hardware. None of them had it, except I think Menards had it, but didn't have it in the sizes you need. They're very small sizes. Yeah, this is all epoxy together, just regular epoxy, and some super glue. Works really well with Gorilla Glue or whatever. And for the little notch, this is a top of a flashlight. I just drilled a hole in there into this and put it in, and then drilled a hole in this. Oh yeah, these are done with the Dremel. Even the hole was. Or I didn't use a drill on that. I just used the Dremel and kind of sanded around in circles, and then kind of made it like the line. I don't really like it because you can't. It's really hard to spray paint this line because I did it yesterday and it messed it all up. I had to repaint it and everything. So I tried taking a permanent marker, like a black one, drawing it, and then spray painting it with the clear coat, but the clear coat kind of washes it off. But it's okay. As you can, yeah, I'll show you. And I fed a little. I'm gonna feed a little LED, which I'll go get for you in a second. I'll show you the electronics I'm gonna use. See, oh yeah, you can see the paper mache on the inside. Just, yeah, it's kind of. So this fits right over this, like so. And then it has the little. Yeah, I just want to put a little LED in there. And I'm gonna go get the electronics and stuff. I'm gonna show you what that's supposed to look like. Okay, so I just got all the stuff. Okay, so the first thing I found were these. You buy them in like, they come in like 10 packs, or actually no, like 5. But really like $2. That actually wasn't a bad deal. I got this all from Radio Shack. But I am advising you right now, do not buy your LEDs from Radio Shack. You're gonna get them incredibly overpriced. I don't even know why I did this, but okay. This is just a little 9-volt thing. Fits over, and it has positive lead and stuff. Another really important thing you're going to need is get a huge pack of resistors. So the ones I got were 150 ohm, half watt. It wasn't bright enough, so I'm going to have to go get other ones today, like a watt. Because the LEDs I bought have 3.8 volts maximum, and it makes them very bright. And the blue ones, they are very bright. So I can't get them out of the package, but that's what they look like. And now I'm gonna show you the actual LEDs. Nice. There you go. So here's I bought these things they're called the round PCB kit. They come with all these small, they're like the perfect shapes and stuff. They come in a whole bunch, like small sizes. They came all in this one kit for about $4. Not bad, but just definitely not cheap. And here are the LEDs into this board. Now I broke off all the prongs, which again, these are the most crappy LEDs I've ever used, but they're very bright. It's just that's solder. And I don't know why, but it was resisting. These things were resisting the solder. These this Radio Shack one, and all the other ones were working fine, except these ones. They just you put it on and it fall right off. It sucked. So, but these were very bright. They were like really good. Yeah. So I'm gonna use this one, which fits pretty well. After, as you can see, like this. I'm just gonna put this like inside here, underneath on the inside. Yeah. The wire I used was just this real wire I got for like $4. And I bought, yeah, the reason these things were overpriced, I bought, I don't know what that was, but this cost me $4 each LED, and I was like, holy crap, that's incredibly overpriced. I go online, they were like 99 cents at this website called Super Bright LEDs, so I'm probably just gonna buy them all from there. You can get like 10 of these for like $10, and it was like, I was so pissed. Oh yeah, for the switch and the handle, we ended up making this last night. It used to be something called frog tape. It was like, it came like these cards, like these big things like this, and this is one of the caps. In this piece, we did is we cut out. Well, we had this regular switch, just the flick switch. It worked fine. We attached the 2 wires to it, and this thing fits pretty snug on the back of this, and it looked really nice. And then I can put the shell over it. Another thing is this shell kind of shrunk for some reason, and it's much tighter than it used to be. See? It's okay. And then we have the switch in the back, little toggle switch. So it's like really hard to see, but then I can go like, you can actually kind of see it from the inside. Yeah, but you need a handle for this because you don't have any place to put your hand now inside. Time for evil jokes in the bottom. So I'm actually gonna flick to an Indie Mogul thing where I tell you how to build the barrel because that was very useful for me. Except the parts were really off. I don't know why, but why, Indie Mogul? Why? Oh, one more thing. For the tube, what I'm going to use now, I had this nice kind of bendy plastic, but I kind of used it all, and it kind of got really gross. So I'm going to use a Dr. Pepper, cut it. They actually work really fine. They look really good. Cheaper than using that stuff, but it's not good because it's easy to break if you get that acrylic stuff. But also the plungers. I totally forgot to talk about that. The inside core is supposed to light up with the LED or whatever. And what I wanted to do is a lot of people have been using these plastic plungers. Lowe's is the only place you're going to find them. Menards won't have them. Lowe's, just go on their website. They'll tell you if they have them in stock. I haven't found them yet, but I went on their website last night and I just put it up for pickup. If you go pick up, it has to have a clear handle. You just cut it down, stick it on the inside of that tube, and you're done. Pretty easy. So I'm going to flick to that video, and hopefully by the time you've watched that, I probably will have the whole gun probably finished, including the bottom shell. So, bleh.
Plumbing epoxy, 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch machine screws, 2 3-inch PVC couplings, 2 4-inch PVC couplings, a clear plastic tube, 4-inch ABS tube, 3-inch ABS tube, plunger with clear handle, LED flashlights, foam mat, Tupperware container, black cable, spray paints, Dremel, and hot glue.
This build's difficulty level is 9.
Simple time lapse! Woo! The first thing I did was research. There are plenty of portal guns online that people have made, and the most popular is by a guy named Harrison Cricks. You can go see his stuff at this link here. Using his pictures as reference, I also found a life-size blueprint which I printed out. That too can be found at this link. Next, I took the PVC pipes and laid them out to get an idea of the scale of the gun. The first thing I did was glue the 2 4-inch couplings together, and then added duct tape to reinforce that. Then I cut the 4-inch ABS pipe to about 10 inches in length. Once that was cut and sanded smooth, I eyeballed the blueprints and drew on the pipe where I was going to cut. After the cutting and sanding, it looked something like this. Next, I took the 3-inch ABS pipe and a scrap piece of foam and made a couple rings. Then I placed that into the 4-inch pipe. After gauging where that was going to sit, I cut the 3-inch pipe to about 13 inches. I also drew on that and then cut a hole. Once those were both done and put together, it looked like this. Next, I took the 3-inch couplings and put one on the 3-inch pipe and cut the other one and then placed those on the 3-inch pipe as well. After that, I took the plumbing epoxy and lined the inside of the barrel where I cut. Once it dried, I sanded it down and used my X-Acto knife to make clean cuts. It looked like this. I then did a coat of glossy black paint over the whole thing. Then I took the top layer of the barrel and added some plumbing epoxy to it. Once it was done, I painted it as well. Next, I took the plunger handle and sanded it to make it bounce light better than if it was just see-through. Then I cut it down a little bit. Then I took the clear plastic tube and cut it to size for the barrel and made C-shaped pieces of foam so the plastic tube would sit in the barrel correctly. Then I made some more foam rings for the plunger handle and put that in the plastic tube. Once all that was done, this is what it looked like. Then I took more foam and made more rings and put the barrel into the 4-inch couplings. Then I made a flashlight holder for the barrel out of foam and glued that in. Next was the white shells that are on the gun. After looking at the blueprints and plenty of reference pictures, I cut out a stencil that looked like this. Once I cut that out of foam, I formed it with my heat gun and then glued it together. The last step for this was painting it white. I did 3 coats of white and a coat of gloss on top of that. I did the same thing with the front shell. Once those dried, I glued them onto the gun. I also glued on some foam parts that are needed for the final steps. Also, I took the end of the plunger handle, cut it short, and stuck that piece in the hole in the top. One of the last things I did was use the Tupperware and cut out the pieces for the claws. I also used the machine screws to put them together, then made the ends out of foam. While those were drying from a coat of black glossy paint, I cut and added the black cables to the gun. Once the claws were dry, I screwed them on, and the portal gun was done.
Thing while I'm out here, and oh, this is kind of a bad camera. My phone. It's not terrible, but I want to talk about the paint and all what everything looks like. So the first most important paint is this stuff. It's called crystal clear enamel. This is what gives it that really good shiny. Always happens on the video. And here's the white. It's by the same company. It's semi-gloss. It also gives it kind of a gloss. It's important. I put these caps on. It's good to get these kind of paints, but they're kind of expensive. And here's just a regular black I've been using. I got a 2-pack of this black one. It's called Gloss Protective. I've used like this bottle up a lot. Cause see, that's the front shell. And that's because I had to repaint that a little bit because it got some smudges and stuff on there. I didn't like them. Here's the Dremel I used. It's over here. It's shorted out. It doesn't work anymore. I'm gonna go return it and get a new one. It's the Dremel 400 XTR. It's just a regular sanding block. Sanding is also very important using the Dremel and some sanding bits. And I would get really important to get 80 grit. I think it's 80 grit sandpaper. This is what kind of shapes it with all those bumps. I don't know what the other sanding thing is, but I think it was 160 grit I used the last one. Okay, let's talk about the shells again. The first time I was gonna make the shells, I tried making them out of this foam, which cost me $14 to waste. For all these pieces of foam, and it's so, I don't know how people, it's called Flores foam, but this stuff just breaks. You put your finger like barely on it, and I tried gluing these all together, and it was a mess. Don't ever try that unless you're really good with it. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that Bondo stuff. This stuff was, I'm just telling you now, it's very messy. I totally like ruined the whole can. I got this a few days ago. But yeah, so when you get it, it's really, really good. It comes with this hardener stuff and this other stuff. You just mix it until it. And I also bought these Bondo, these Bondo things. These things just. I'll show you what the Bondo, when you get it, comes in like, it's like pink and weird. It like shifts right off this thing for some reason. But it makes it really, really hard and gives it really good shape and smooth if you get it right after sanding. But I recommend getting these too. What else is there to talk about? Here's the front shell. I just gave it I usually give some, to the painting, I give it, this one I just give it black and then clear, then black, then clear. Looks pretty nice. For this one, I just put the black on. I just put black on. But for the regular shells, because this shell I'm trying to speed up a little bit, but if you want to look really nice, you get just get a white primer paint. This one's kind of cream, but it doesn't really matter actually what color it is, unless if it's like a really, really dark blue or something. It's kind of be kind of hard. But put that on, it kind of gets in all the cracks and stuff, kind of fills it up, and then you sand it, and then you put the spray paints on. I usually put a black and then a white and then clear. And if it looks messy, I just keep redoing that process. And here's that frog tape. Here's the other cap to it. And that's the actual tape. And I used just regular markers. Here's the wire I used. I actually think I have a reel of it over here. Yeah, here it is. Here's the reel of wire. You get a whole bunch of this for like $1. It's not bad. And I'm starting on the claws. Now, I messed them up because you have any mobile sled use like this Tupperware. They didn't really tell you, so I got this template off online. I'll put it in the link in the description. But to make these make 2 of these, and like 2 of these things, and they should hook on. It's kind of complicated. It's like this. You have one like this, kind of face up, and the other one is kind of like parallel to this, like that way. And then there's a one coming out here that you drill in with machine screws. And the 2 of these, they're hooked for a reason, because these will go in and make a kind of, with a nut and bolt, it shouldn't like go through. It's complicated, but I might be able to do that, or I'm just gonna make them out of wood. If you're making them out of wood, I recommend using like kind of like these handles, or not these. These are trims, but or these are really good. Like a thin wood like this, because it's really easy to cut. This would actually be really good. But except this side, I'm kind of worried about. So I'm just gonna find 2 pieces of these and glue them these sides together. So it's it's just double the thickness, and then the side won't be showing. That's really all I had to show you about that.